Welcome back, guys. I'm going to update you on the progress that I've made so far in the 5.3 build here, and we're also going to gap some rings. So let's get to it. All right, guys, so I haven't made much progress, but I did get the rods hung on the pistons here. The only thing is getting these little retaining clips in is kind of a pain. I'm sure they make a specialty tool. I do not have it. I use this extreme pressure anti-seize moly graphite engine assembly lube on the wrist pins. My buddy Cameron had that, and I figured it would be a great use for that. Tonight we're gonna gap some rings. So I'm using the Summit rings that normally come with these pistons, the Forge Summit Pro LS pistons. So we're gonna be gapping them based off of forced induction over 15 pounds just to be safe. And it looks like it's requiring bore times 7 thou. Did the math on that. The top ring is going to be 26 thou, and the bottom ring, second ring, is going to be 28 thou. So got this little grinder for end gap here. We're going to put these in the bore, measure them now, and see how much we got to take off. So let's get to it. All right, so kind of hard to see, but I put, there it is, an old ring back in this piston on the second ring land there to push these in and get a consistent depth. So I don't have the fancy tool for that either, so that's what we're gonna do. I oiled these bores up really good before we did this, so not to scratch the bore. So we'll get that in there. I'll grab my feeler gauge. All right, so we get 11 thou, and looks like that's about where it's at now. This is the second ring that's going to 28 thou. I'm going to do this one first just in case I take a little bit more out than I plan to. I can kind of practice with these ones because the top rings are a little bit tighter clearances. All right, so a couple little details on this. I have my ring here. This is once again the second ring on the piston. So when you're grinding these, you want to push it up against this edge here. You know, make sure you're as flush with the surface as possible. So you're grinding it flat. You don't want to grind the end at an angle or anything like that. The other thing too is you want to grind it towards the piston. So I'm going to go, inwards as I'm grinding. The main reason for that is you don't want to have any sort of edge here when you're putting it in and out of the bore to test it. Now, when I'm done here, I'm going to smooth off all these edges too, just to make sure that there's no edges on the piston or the bore. But the other smart thing to do here would be to count how many rotations you have. Obviously, I'm not going to apply perfect pressure here, and I don't have a dial indicator. I don't have the fancy tool. So I'm going to have to check and recheck this quite a bit. But I'm going to get to grinding now, and when it's done, I'll show you the finished product. All right, I got 28 thou. Might be a hair loose, but I'm happy with that. Something else I'm doing here in between rounds of grinding is, if I get this to focus here, just pushing these together here to make sure that they're flat against each other. That's how I know that I was flush on the grinder when I was grinding. All right, guys, so I got one full set of rings done. This is the lower ring at 28 thou. This tool came in handy. So basically what I did was I took off 50 passes on each side. The instructions from Summit say to take equal amounts off of each side of the ring. So I did one side, flipped it over to the other side. And then I did 20 turns, and then 10 as it started to get closer, and then 5. And then after I was done, I just went through and deburred them, make sure that they were all cleaned up on all sides. And that's that. Oh, and if you hear something in the background, it sounds like welding. It's that. It's not me doing any sort of shitty welding here. So that's it for tonight. This process probably took about an hour because I'm OCD and was just getting used to using the tool. But once I get the next set of rings done, I'll put those in here as well, push these ones down to the bottom of the bore, and then I'll get them all on the pistons. And that's it for tonight.